LA Rider, America on Two Wheels is brought to you by the Louisiana Office of Tourism Trails and Byways Program. Louisiana is full of stories. Yours begins here. Southeast Louisiana Gumbo, great roads, interesting destinations, and terrific food. Come to Southeast Louisiana. And Houma, Louisiana, your passport to adventure in the heart of Louisiana's wetlands. Also brought to you by Iberville Parish, the heart of plantation country and the soul of the Atchafalaya.
Hey, ladies.
Hey,
what are y'all doing?
We're just trying to figure out where we're going to ride next.
Well, that's a great thing to do on a beautiful day like today. Do y'all have a bucket list?
Oh, that sounds too much like housework to me.
TW is talking about a list of rides that you want to go on before you get too old to ride that steel pony.
Oh, well, I have a bucket full of those.
Well, so do I. And, you know, recently I had an opportunity to scratch a real big one off my personal list with a ride to the land of the midnight sun.
Oh, do tell.
It is America's largest state. In fact, if you divided it in half, it would be America's two largest states. Texas would be a mere third. Welcome to Alaska, a wondrous place of beautiful mountains and peaceful valleys, vast lakes and crystal clear streams, glaciers and frozen tundra, dense forests and sprawling prairies. Alaska is a place of awe, mystery, and discovery, where adventure waits just around every curve in the road. Our Alaskan adventure began on the 30th day of May in Anchorage, Alaska's largest city. In fact, more than half the state's nearly 725,000 residents live in this area. After flying into Anchorage the night before, we gathered bright and early at Alaska Motorcycle Adventures, where we loaded our gear on 8 rental bikes, 7 BMWs, and a Triumph.
Get it packed up, man. Getting ready to roll. I'm like a 6-year-old kid waiting for Christmas.
Ready to roll, man. The amigos are always ready.
Welcome to Alaska.
Keith and Nancy Hall have been outfitting motorcyclists for Alaska riding adventures for nearly 2 decades, and their fleet is well maintained and perfectly outfitted for an extended road trip. In less than an hour, the bikes were loaded and we were on our way, headed south toward Cook Inlet and down the Kenai Peninsula. Anchorage resident Mike Boots put together an incredible ride for our Lower 48 group. Boots, an avid rider and moto tourist, moved with his family to Alaska on July 4th, 1961. A rider since an early age, Boots is a walking, talking encyclopedia on Alaska, its people, and its history. Our day started out cool and cloudy, but soon it turned wet and cold. Less than an hour into our ride, the rains came, and along with them a sharp drop in temperatures. Welcome to springtime in Alaska.
You get that wind in your face for about another 30 miles, and then it'll be at your back.
It's not bad today.
It'll get worse in the afternoon.
The Alaskan winter of 2011 and 12 had brought record cold and snowfall. And even though June was just around the corner, winter was lingering all around us. And wet roads and rain showers were the order of the day. Yet, even in these dismal conditions, the constantly changing scenery was still captivating. By the time we reached the Kenai Mountains, it was hard to tell that winter was officially over. There was literally snow everywhere, as temperatures hovered in the upper 30s and lower 40s. But despite the cold and dismal weather, our group of 7 Louisianians and 1 Texan was still completely upbeat.
It's warmed up a bit. I think it's probably over 40 degrees now, and it's not raining quite as hard. It's just a little sprinkle, and things have improved a lot.
I'm getting a little warmer now as this afternoon passes, and I've layered up some more. I brought everything that I could think of from home, and I have it all on. It wasn't to keep warm. 3 weeks ago.
Before continuing south, we took a short detour to the northwest for a brief visit to Hope, an old gold mining town on the southern shore of Turnagain Arm.
Some of the most beautiful scenery I've seen in a long time, and these guys are riding terrifically. Everybody's just right in sync, and we're putting mile after mile on this trip. Good first day. It's going to be wonderful. Getting ready to eat a little lunch.
At Hope, we got another great view of the inlet and also our first glimpse of Alaskan wildlife when a moose ambled up near our luncheon stop. After a few Kodak moments, we all went inside and warmed our chilled bodies with fresh homemade chili. After a hot meal and a chance to dry out, we were on our way again. The weather had cleared a little as we left Hope and headed south again. But we would still dodge showers for the rest of the day. Riding in and out of the rain, we continued towards Seward, named for the American Secretary of State who arranged the purchase of Alaska from the Russians in 1867. The deal, which cost about 2 cents an acre, was very unpopular at the time and was referred to as Seward's Folly. We had only been on the road less than a day and could already tell it was probably the best real estate deal ever. A brief stop at Kenai Lake during a respite from the showers provided all the proof anyone needs that Seward's Folly was really genius. This 13,000-acre zigzag-shaped lake is 22 miles long and forms the headwaters of the Kenai River, a prime spot for salmon and trout fishing. Back on the road, our group continued south another 50 miles or so to Seward. Located along the northern shore of the Gulf of Alaska at the top of Resurrection Bay, Seward is a popular fishing port and a place where cruise ships stop. From Seward, we headed a few miles back up the highway toward Cooper's Landing and the Kenai Princess Lodge, where warm, dry cabins and blazing wood stoves quickly made us forget just how wet and cold the day's ride had been.
Come to the Cajun coast. It ain't heaven, but it's mighty close. On that Cajun coast. On now, let's go, no better place to turn life around. Have a bite, it's alright. So much to see, stay and play. We two can be found on that Cajun coast.
G.N. Gonzalez, Baton Rouge's top spot for more than 75 years, carrying the best with brands like Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, ATVs, street bikes, off-road, power equipment, and more. If it's fun and excitement you want, we've got it. Shop online or stop by the capital city's largest showroom. Great deals at great prices every day. G.N. Gonzalez, it's how you roll.
Hey, this is Eric Edwards with Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Whether you're looking for a great time on your bike in a more populated city atmosphere like Bass Pro, or you're looking for a scenic tour along LA-22, we want to show you how biker-friendly we are right here in Livingston Parish. We have a lot of great rooms, RV parks, and of course the Tickfall State Park. Go to our website, visit livingstonparish.com, or call us, email us, and we'll help your bike ride to be the best it can be. Hope to see you soon on your bike in Livingston Parish.
You've known Don's since 1934. Fresh Louisiana seafood with a Cajun flair. Nightly specials and daily lunch menu. Steaks grilled to perfection. Charbroiled oysters on an open flame. Friendly service. For great seafood, steaks, and family fun, come into Don's Seafood Hut and enjoy the experience. Don's Seafood Hut. Rushing Road in Denham Springs and Cabela's Parkway in Gonzales.
Going down to Whittier, and we got to get there. We got to go through the tunnel in the mountains, the Anton Anderson Tunnel.
Day 2 of our Alaskan adventure began with promise. The sun was actually shining as we departed the Kenai Princess Lodge. Today would indeed be an adventure, which would include a trip through one of America's longest tunnels and then a journey via Alaska's Marine Highway. But we had barely made it down the slope and back to the Seward Highway when the rain droplets began to form on our windshields. Now seasoned wet weather riders, our group pressed on, as from time to time the sun peeked out from what was now broken clouds, teasing us with the possibility of warmer weather and sunny skies.
Suiting up, Joe?
Yeah, I get a little cold.
But warm, dry weather eluded us as we headed back toward Turnagain Pass to the cutoff at Portage Glacier Road. And by the time we reached the Anton Anderson Tunnel, which would take us 2.5 miles straight through the mountain to the port of Whittier, we were again cold and wet, but definitely ready for adventure. And that adventure would be traveling through a one-lane tunnel shared by trains and cars, keeping your wheels between the rails and your eyes on the light at the end. At Whittier, we waited patiently in the rain for the Alaska Marine Highway Ferry, which would take us across Prince William Sound to Valdez, terminus of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. After boarding the ferry and securing our bikes, we made our way upstairs. The ferry is a pretty big boat and an ocean-going vessel, and the passenger area is warm, dry, and comfortable.
Bob, I've been quite impressed with the service, the professionalism exhibited by all of the people who are running this particular operation.
The ferry trip to Valdez is a great way to truly experience just how raw and rugged a wilderness much of Alaska remains today. Mile after mile of coastline and mountains pass by without a single sign of civilization. At Valdez, we were quickly back on the bikes and headed northwest. As we slowly climbed into the mountains, Mother Nature suddenly released her grip, and for the first time, we caught a glimpse of the Alaskan sun, and with it, beautiful deep blue skies. This area of Alaska gets some of the heaviest snowfall in the state, sometimes 30 feet or more. And by the time we made it through Thompson Pass and to the Worthington Glacier, it looked like a winter wonderland on the last day of May.
It's Worthington Glacier. It's one of the mini glaciers located here in Alaska, and we're really almost at the top of the world. It's incredible. The sky, for the first time on this trip, is blue and the sun's shining. There's snow all around, and it's the last day of May. Amazing.
After a brief photo session, we were back on the road again and headed to our final destination for the day, the Teakle River, where we would find an unexpected treasure. From magnificent rolling hills to peaceful bayou vistas, Southeast Louisiana is the perfect place for a weekend ride or an extended motorcycle vacation. Take a swamp tour an antebellum home, pass a good time at a Fado, or just take a ride along Old Man River. We've got it all. Great destinations, friendly people, incredible food, and authentic music. Come ride Southeast Louisiana. There's a motorcycle memory awaiting you around every corner.
Feeling free as a bird now. Fly, little, gonna see the whole world now. Try, little. These days are better than before. I want more. These days are better than before. I want more. These days are better than before. I want more.
Geico Insurance. See how much you could save at geico.com.
I fish alligators because it's in my blood, and I love it, and we are the real home of swamp people.
Everything my dad taught me was hands-on about alligator hunting, and look, I still have my hands. If anybody never been to a swamp, you're missing out. You need to get out and enjoy the outdoors.
You'll see alligators that's on land, sunning themselves. You'll see different birds.
So if you want to see the swamp, come out and get on a tour.
You can stay home and watch this on TV.
Or you can come down to Houma and experience it for real.
Only one motorsports company can say all this. Yamaha, the first name in motorsports. Be the first to save big at the Yamaha Time to Ride sales event.
See the entire Yamaha line at Friendly Yamaha, Baton Rouge. Welcome to the Teakle River Lodge, a true Alaskan roadhouse located on the banks of the Teakle River. Not your fanciest accommodations, but clean, warm, and dry. And the hospitality of owners Kim Newt and partner Phil made this one of our favorite stops of the entire trip, especially when Phil invited us to his garage to take a look at his ride.
Tell me about this bike.
My dirty bike.
Yeah.
I bought this out of California in 1998, my first Indian out of 8. It's an 80 cubic inch. I shipped it to Munich, Germany in 2001, and Kim and I drove on this bike together for 1,750 miles. We went through West Germany into East Germany, up into Austria, down to Slovenia. We won our first trophy in Slovenia with this bike, and then we drove it back. And this has been pretty much all over the place ever since.
After showing off the Indian, Phil built us a roaring fire where we gathered to enjoy a few refreshments, recount the adventures of the day, and take in an Alaskan sunset.
It's 10 after 10.
10 after 10.
And it's really, 2:10 Baton Rouge time. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
Well, that is until about midnight, when Kim called out her bedroom window to remind us that the sun wouldn't be setting until at least October. Welcome to springtime in Alaska, land of the midnight sun. Day 3 of our Alaskan adventure, hardly a cloud in the sky as we pulled out of the Teakle River Lodge, headed for our ultimate destination of the day, Tok, Alaska. It was a beautiful frosty morning as we rode northeast on the Richardson Highway through interior Alaska, and it only took a few minutes for our entire lower 48 group to completely forget the cold, wet weather we had endured the first 2 days. This was perhaps our most scenic ride of the entire Alaskan adventure, as a seemingly endless ribbon of asphalt stretched out before us. Here, it was easy to get a sense of just how big Alaska truly is, and with each stop along the way, an opportunity to soak in the beauty and awe of this incredible place.
Even the road itself is beautiful, the way it's going over the various hills and going down into the ravines and canyons.
This is why we came right here. This is unbelievable.
Yes, Alaska is big, beautiful, and sparsely populated. An absolute wonderful place to ride. But not a good place for a breakdown, as we learned during a side trip to Chitna to see the dip-net salmon fishing operations on the Copper River. Rocky gravel roads and thin tires do not make a good match, especially in an area where the largest village boasts a population of about 100.
You know, I've never had to do this before. Probably wasn't a good idea to bring this bike down there.
You know?
I think it just hit a sharp rock, punctured through there. The tire's relatively thin.
Bob. A good repair kit, good instructions, plus the youth and strength of our youngest rider got Mike temporarily back on the road. But a new tire would ultimately be needed, and that would have to come from Anchorage. A quick call to Mike's wife and arrangements were made to pick up a new tire and bring it to him. Meanwhile, the rest of us pressed on to Tok.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
No matter what you do with your hands, they are important to you. Injury and disease of the hand, wrist, and forearm can range from mildly irritating to debilitating, putting the things you love out of reach. Dr. Joe Morgan of the Bone and Joint Clinic of Baton Rouge is a noted hand specialist and recognized as one of the best doctors in America. Dr. Morgan specializes in operative and non-operative treatment of hand injuries and disorders. So don't let problems with your hands spoil your ride. Call a fellow rider. Call Dr. Joe Morgan. Magnificent mansions, tiny churches, historic sites, mysterious places. No matter what your taste, you'll find it here. Come to the heart of plantation country and the soul of the Atchafalaya. Come take a ride in Iberville Parish, where the destination is the journey.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the blue chip athlete to blue collar worker. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
I'm T.W. Robinson, and if you like riding off the beaten path as much as I do, then you need to check out Louisiana's scenic byways.
They've got everything a motorcyclist is looking for. Terrific scenery, good roads, and interesting stories. And of course, the best food in the country.
If you want to experience Louisiana, come ride with me off the beaten path.
Louisiana Scenic Byways, motorcycle tours ready-made for riding. Sunrise in Tok, Alaska. It's 5:30 a.m. on the second day of June and the fourth day of our Alaskan adventure. Actually, the sun had been up for a while, since in this part of the country, at this time of the year, really doesn't go down very far or for very long. Tok is located on the Alaska Highway, sometimes called the Alcan Highway, which stretches more than 1,400 miles from Dawson Creek, British Columbia, to Delta Junction, Alaska. Completed in 1948, the highway is a major entry point to Alaska for Canadian tourists. We had just spent the night at the picturesque Burnt Paw Cabins, which are located right on the highway in the middle of Tok. Owned and operated by Bill and Nancy Arpino, Burnt Paw Cabins is a perfect motorcycle destination.
We're very motorcycle friendly. In fact, watching over the years, it's as the highway has improved, it's been with less and less gravel, more and more motorcycle friendly.
All right.
By now, our guide, Mike Boots, had his new tire, but there was still one problem, finding someplace to get it mounted. And that someplace turned out to be here, at an airstrip just 10 miles up the road. This area of Alaska is prone to wildfires, and the Bureau of Land Management operates a large airfill near Tanacross to service air tankers. Since there's no commercial traffic, motorcyclists from around the state are allowed to use the runways for racing. And there would be plenty of people here with the tools needed to mount Mike's new tire. So while Mike found a good Samaritan in the pits, the rest of us took up positions along the raceway to watch a bit of the races. The races were fun and exciting, but there was adventure still awaiting us on down the highway. And soon we were back on the road, headed up the Alaska Highway toward Delta Junction, and ultimately back down Richardson Highway to Paxson at the junction of the Richardson and Denali highways. Once again, it was a perfect Alaskan spring day. Beautiful blue skies, big puffy white clouds, and mild temperatures. A great day for riding and exploring the last frontier. On this part of the ride, we got to experience it all. From beautiful evergreen forests, which stretch on for miles and miles, to rustic bridges crossing ice-clogged rivers like the Robertson and Gerstle. Plus, there were many opportunities to view the great Trans-Alaska Pipeline, an incredible engineering marvel which stretches more than 800 miles across Alaska's midsection, bringing crude oil all the way from Prudhoe Bay to the port of Valdez. And then there were the beautiful lakes, not yet fully thawed. Our fourth night on the road was spent at the Denali Cabins near Paxson, an incredibly beautiful place in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness. But it was the last time we would see the sun. Day 5 brought back the rain and cold as we completed our triangle and headed toward Palmer and ultimately on back to Anchorage. But even the return of the rains couldn't dampen our spirits or our enthusiasm for this incredible place. Our Alaskan adventure had allowed us all the opportunity to experience many of the things that make this one of the best riding destinations on the planet. And yet, it left us all yearning for more. Alaska, you see, is just too big, too diverse, and too wonderful to take in just 1 week. In fact, as far as my bucket list is concerned, it will definitely take a few more scoops to fill up the part reserved for Alaska. For LA Rider, I'm Bob Courtney.
You know, see now why they call Alaska the last frontier. It is such a beautiful and wondrous place to visit.
You know, it really is. And even though the riding season is only about 4 months long, those long days of summer give you plenty of time to rack up the miles.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have to start myself one of those bucket lists, and you can be sure that Alaska is going to be on it, along with about a dozen other places.
You know, that's a great thing about riding this country. You never quite run out of interesting destinations. I say, let's ride.
I agree.
Brought to you by the Louisiana Office of Tourism Trails and Byways Program. Louisiana is full of stories. Yours begins here. Southeast Louisiana Gumbo. Great roads, interesting destinations, and terrific food. Come to Southeast Louisiana. And Houma, Louisiana. Your passport to adventure in the heart of Louisiana's wetlands. Also brought to you by Iberville Parish, the heart of plantation country and the soul of the Atchafalaya.
God bless Crone Cowgirl.